You're listening to the Plain Talking UK podcast, the UK-based podcast written by a passenger for anyone. And here are your hosts, Carla Stebbings, Matt Smith and Neville Bounds.
Well, hello and welcome to episode number 227 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carl Stebbings, and joining me live in the lounge studio here at PTUK Towers, it's my co-host Matt Smith.
Greetings, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm a little bit louder than you, so you need to either turn me down or...
Right, there we go.
Yeah, turn me down. That's the answer, yes. Anyway, hello, everyone, yes.
I know. That looks good, Matt. I like that.
Yes, I've been playing with my vMix settings again today. Yes, absolutely. To those listening on YouTube means absolutely nothing, I know. I'm very sorry.
Every week, I think it's every week, you fiddle around with vMix and find some amazing new setting.
Oh, you know, see, me, myself and Nev have been practicing.
I know.
You know, we've been practicing all sorts of marvelous. I can do really clever things like this now.
Whoa!
I know,
blimey!
Absolutely. Make people feel slightly nauseous.
Felt G-force there.
Yeah, all right. Steady on. There's no need to be delusional. We'll do the same to you because I don't want you to feel left out.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it means absolutely nothing to everybody listening on the audio version. But anyway, there we are. I'll stop playing now. It'll just happen.
So on the note of Nev, apologies from Nev this week. He is unfortunately not with us this week. He's attending a wedding, I think, somewhere in the UK. So hello, Nev. I know you popped in the chat room earlier. So
yes.
I hope you have a good day and dodge the rain. We had
Dodging
rain.
the rain, yeah. I know, actual rain. Yeah, I'd almost forgot what it was. Yeah, absolutely, very scary.
But we're not going to complain.
No, absolutely not. We definitely need it. And I'll tell you what, it is still muggy here, but what is really nice is that the temperature literally. When I was coming back last night from Stansted, and it was the car was reading 36 when I got in the car. To go to the airport, and when I got out in the car to drive away, the temperature had dropped down to 19 degrees.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was only there an hour. The temperature, because of the rain, it dropped so dramatically. Anyway, yes, not very interesting stuff.
So we're going to say a big welcome then to everyone who's joined us in the live YouTube chat room. Pardon me, Dan?
You're very quiet.
I'm very quiet. Sorry, that's probably because I've got a microphone here.
No, I know it's a great angle, but you need to compensate accordingly.
So, welcome everyone who's joined us this morning. Let's have to scroll up the list here. We go.
Andrew Wilson says it's very fresh in the Midlands, by the way.
Jacob Darlington Brown. Good morning to you, Andrew Wilson, Tony Ayres, Shorty Crosgrove, Captain Al's in the chat room. We've got Pilot Pip, Mashers in the chat room. Stephen Agar Hootie. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Probably
he's
not.
in the chat room.
Yeah, okay.
We've got Neil Landwarn. He's in the chat room. Let me scroll down. David Abbey. Dave Abbey's in the chat room.
Hopefully he's napping again because it was stupid o'clock.
Pilot Pip has also joined us today. Andrew Wilson. Hello, Andrew. Richard Adams. Yeah. Auntie Liz is also in the chat room. Hello, Auntie Liz. Jeff Braithwaite as well has noticed that I have got said hat back on.
Yes, it's been sent away for fumigation. It's
actually Jacob.
It's no longer a health hazard.
Jacob Darlington Brown has said in the chat room. You'll like this, Matt. He said that I must say I've been listening to the podcast on 1.5 speed for the past few months. It's very odd to hear you all speak so slowly.
Right, okay.
So for the benefit, Jacob, when you're listening to this podcast, then we're going to speak.
You just sound drunk now. Is last night catching up with you, Carlos? Is that what it is? Yeah, Carlos went out for a beer last night.
I had beer last night.
He went out to Lowestoft.
Yeah.
Goodness
Went
me.
to the coast. And
was it any cooler?
It was cooler because it actually rained.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
But I actually went out and
nobody ever pronounces it correctly. His name apparently. So go on then. Phonetically spell it for us, Stephen, so that we can try and
spell it.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I'm struggling with English this morning as well. Anyway, we should probably do some news.
Yeah. But we have got loads of stuff to get through today. We've got some news, obviously, to begin with, and we also have got some great videos from last week's epic Farnborough meetup at the air show. That was awesome. We had such a good weekend, and loads of people turned up to see us.
Evan Shoes in the chat room.
Hello, Evan. Hello, Evan. And yeah, we had such a great time, didn't we?
Oh,
We had
amazing.
some really good memories.
Great to meet up with the what I call the aviation family again. It was a really good time.
Yeah.
And so nice to have APG here again.
Yeah.
A real honour. And then obviously and Pip and Al and it was just brilliant. Yeah, I mean, there were some faces that we wish were there. I mean, the airplane geeks, we didn't have Micah and Brian there, which is a real shame. But and they were very much missed, I should say. So we weren't quite the complete family, but it weren't bad. It was a very good turnout.
But Masha flew in.
She did, yeah,
she
absolutely.
flew in.
She did literally
She flew in to see us. That was
absolutely.
really good. And who turned up, Matt? Who were we not expecting?
Yeah.
Who turned
Absolutely, completely
Literally,
out of the blue.
I'll set the scene. We're all standing next to the
minding our own note,
next to the HiFly 380, minding our own business.
Yeah.
Matt was sort of
I was interviewing Dana.
Dana at the time or
right,
something.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
and
great to see him, by the way. Actually, it was great for
yes.
Dana to actually make it over here to the UK. I was really
well done,
impressed.
Dana.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we were all chatting away, and then who should walk up behind us and announce himself but
the legend that is none other than Captain Rick, of all people. Captain Rick just randomly
Captain Rick
turned
Bell,
up.
yeah.
He of
Pittsburgh
fame. And works very hard for the Pittsburgh Air Show, along with many other people I know.
I can
to
believe
put that
it.
great show
Honestly,
together. I mean, just amazing.
of all the people to turn up at Farnborough.
And he happened to be in London. I mean, although I should just say his lovely wife, long-suffering, long-suffering wife, bless her. This was the one day that he was allowed. He was allowed one day of aviation goodness. The remaining 9 days were completely out of his control. I dread to think the hammering that his credit card got.
I know, but we had a really good time with Rick, and it was good to see him.
It was a fantastic meet-up all round, really. To be fair,
we got. I think I've got some pictures to post on our Facebook page. I put them on.
I think you posted one. There's a few that you posted while we were there, but
we might when I've poked Matt with a stick hard enough, I might get him to put some new pictures on our website.
Oh, it's all about
That'd
me,
be nice.
honestly.
I know. So should we do some news?
We should.
Okay, so we are going to start the show then, as we do each week, with our rundown of the weekly news from around the world and the UK. So if you're ready, Matt.
Yeah.
And
there's no one else to know that.
If you're ready, well, we're ready.
And if you're ready, Nev, let's go.
So, kicking off this week's first news story, this one is on the news.com.au website. And I don't know why this one's on the AU. This is an Australian website, this one, but the story is not Australian at all. Me up, yeah. Volume up for me. Yeah. This one, it's one of those stories that we covered a few weeks back. I think you and Nev might have covered one of these stories on a show that you done when I wasn't there.
You were away for quite a number. You were away for 3 weeks in a row, mate.
About suitcases. This I remember when it was Jonathan Warner sent in those photos of his suitcase that was
bashed,
shredded.
Doesn't cover
bashed.
It. Destroyed is another
story. Then the headline is "Ruined: Airline Shreds Woman's Suitcase." So a student had the most amazing holiday in Spain, only to be greeted with horror when her suitcase rolled off the conveyor belt. An outraged EasyJet passenger had posted astonishing pictures of her shredded luggage. Juan Chuy Bosana's bag, that's why I picked this story, was ripped open and the contents were smashed, crushed and ripped and left covered in what appears to be soot.
Wow.
Miss Choi was flying from Seville in Spain to London Gatwick last Thursday and was appalled by the state of her luggage when it was returned to her. The PhD student at Exeter University posted images of the devastation. Is that some extra?
I don't know.
I see there.
I'm assuming it's my laptop. There we go. It's found me.
Okay. So she posted the pictures onto social media page. You can probably, if you're watching the YouTube stream, you can see the picture that Matt's put on the screen.
Quite a messy bag.
That's a bit of a messy bag.
Yes.
And she said the otherwise the beautiful trip was ruined by this outrageous experience. Their answer that was given was even more strange, because without any single word of apologies. They asked her to send more photos clearly showing the brand of the luggage.
What?
She added it was also she was also asked to provide information such as the number of wheels it had, the dimensions of the suitcase, and she had to measure the suitcase in its totally smashed condition, which she thought was a bit unfair.
I mean, I think it's safe to say those undies will never be suitable for use ever again. I mean,
that's pretty hideous.
I don't understand how
she
that
also
can
went
happen.
on to describe the explanation EasyJet tried to give her. She added that EasyJet staff said they had found it fallen off a cargo vehicle for something, and possibly it was dragged all over the roadway. There was there was also a chance that it was jammed underneath a conveyor belt, they also told her. A spokesman for the airline said that EasyJet is sorry for the damage caused to Miss Choi's bag while in transit, and they work closely with all the airport partners to ensure that bags are handled securely and with care, and they're investigating this along with the ground handling providers at London Gatwick Airport. EasyJet flies an average of 1,700 flights per day across more than 30 countries, and incidents and damage of luggage are extremely low. And the airline has said that their team is contacting this passenger to offer her a gesture of goodwill for inconvenience caused.
I mean, I get it. I get it. But it's the same old story, though, isn't it? It's just like you think it's a PR nightmare. These people
I just can't get over these pictures.
These things happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm the first to accept these things happen.
I would definitely. I think looking at those pictures, Matt, I'd have to go with the stuck on it or conveyor belt. You know, when it's
I mean, it's been mashed up, but
really
shredded. The thing that bothers me. Look, things do go wrong. You can't help that. I mean, things do go wrong, but the issue is how it's been handled again. It's this whole PR thing. I mean, you'd have thought people would have learnt by now that actually the most important thing about any industry, and I mean I'm talking about the industry Nev works in, the industry I work in, the industry, maybe not so much the industry you work in because you're quite rude to your drivers, but but it's just like, you know, it's all about PR, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like things do go wrong, but it's how you handle that situation is it determines whether people are happy with what you've done or not. And you know, frankly, EasyJet have sort of dropped a bit of a bomb on that one, I think, really.
On the note of that,
it's just that offering like the excuses and stuff. It's just like, you know, when you're presented with a case like that, you don't really care how it happened. You know, it's more about how you resolve the situation that you're in. So, you know, I think these companies, when it's clearly obvious damage, I mean, you couldn't do that yourself, could you? I mean, that's clearly something that's arrived, and they must have known as it arrived in the airport that this bag had been trashed, etc., etc.
Well, I spoke to Jonathan Warner while we were having the meet-up on the Saturday
of course,
night at Farnborough.
Because he had a similar thing with his baggage. We showed the photos a while ago.
On the show, and actually, Jonathan was telling me that Jet2, who were the airline he was flying with, actually brought them a brand new suitcase.
Oh, brilliant!
And it wasn't a 20
cheap,
a 20 quid job.
It was
a
like for like
high end, one of the big brand name suitcases that they brought them, a hard shell one. And delivered it to them by courier.
Wow,
which I think is really good, especially for the airline itself, Jet2, because obviously you know it's good for them. Bit of good PR, public publicity for them. But well done to them. But no, well,
actually, Al's saying in the chat room, if you buy cheap, you end up buying twice. Which is a good point. Yeah.
So the next story, moving on, is
indeed
on the bbc.co.uk website.
Indeed, and it's a big story, really, and there is more to this, but we're just concentrating with Dublin on this one, as I know there was a big strike yesterday affecting Europe as well. But Ryanair cancels another 20 flights due to the strike. So Ryanair has cancelled 20 out of 300 flights to and from Dublin on Friday the 3rd of August due to a strike. So this is obviously a strike that's coming up soon. The airline says that all 3,500 affected customers have already been notified by email or text message. It is due to a fourth day of industrial action by directly employed Dublin-based pilots on that day. Speaking in Rome, the Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar, apologies if that's wrong, expressed concern over the impact of the ongoing Ryanair dispute. Mr. Varadkar appealed to the airline and the union to consider how the industrial action is affecting the people and the customers. They are the ones that are paying the wages of the pilots and the cabin crew, and ultimately pay the dividends of the shareholders and keep the board in office, he said. I would ask that they would all get round the table, come to an agreement and allow things to return to normal. Ryanair management said that all 50,000 passengers affected over the course of the strike have been given alternative flights or received refunds. Now, to be honest with you, I may be speaking a little bit out of turn here, but Mr. O'Leary is not well known for his diplomacy, and I honestly think the only person that will win out of all of this, I don't think the pilots will get their way. He is a clever man. He will find another way of solving this without giving in to them. I have no doubt.
I wouldn't say I wasn't. Well, I'm not going to say I wasn't expecting anything like this to happen, but I think. We've been covering Ryanair now for the last how many years we've been doing the show. Yeah, and all we see is like Ryanair are starting new routes here. They've got so many flights, millions and millions and millions of passengers, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then it's going to hit them really hard, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, disruption is disruption. Don't get me wrong, and I know obviously for the people that have been affected by these 20 flights that have been cancelled, I know are a pain. And I know somebody will throw percentages at me when I say this, but it is only 20 flights out of 300. But if I know that's awful for those 20, those 20 flights and the people that are involved in that. But actually, when you think how widespread the disruption could be for pilots going on strike, I mean, but this is what I say. I mean, O'Leary, I think will. I'm almost convinced he will find another way of solving this without giving in to the pilots and or the unions. And of course, was it yesterday and the day before, big strikes in Europe involving cabin crew this time, not the pilots. So I want to say Portugal, was it? I can't remember off the top. Apologies if I've got that wrong. But I know there was a big strike in Europe that has been well publicised. But I don't know. It's a challenging time, I think, for certainly for the management. I understand why pilots and the cabin crew are unhappy, but it's certainly a challenging time for the management.
So next story is on the travelweekly.co.uk website, and it's a story especially for Nev. This is a BA story, as always. British Airways to launch direct flights from the UK to Pittsburgh. Ooh. So BA are going to launch 4 flights a week from Heathrow in the UK here to Pittsburgh, making it the only airline to fly direct from the UK to the Pennsylvanian city. The year-round service will start on April the 2nd, 2019, taking a number of BA routes from London to the US to 26. A 787-8 Dreamliner will fly the route. Hopefully they'll have some engines on them by then, which will depart Heathrow on awful. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays. Sean Doyle, British Airways Director of Network Alliances, said that we are extremely pleased to be adding Pittsburgh to our global network of over 250 destinations. With the rollout of Wi-Fi on long-haul flights and the ongoing investment we're making in the customer experience on the ground and in the air, we're proud to be flying the flag for high-quality transatlantic travel. So return fares from the UK to Pittsburgh are going to set you back about £600 in World Traveller. Right. And if you're going to travel in World Traveller Plus, which I think is, Nev would know this better than me, I think World Traveller Plus is a kind of premium kind of way of travelling, will set you back just over £1,000 at £1,068.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question now, because obviously we have done that route.
We have, but not direct.
Not direct, I know, but we had to go. Now, how does that? Because I know because you flew Air Canada, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
You were flying with Air Canada. Now, how can you remember off the top of your head how that price? Because you were in economy, weren't you?
Premium on the
premium
way out.
economy.
Yeah, on
okay.
the way out. Yeah, they upgraded me very kindly.
Yeah,
and
but you essentially had an economy ticket, didn't you?
Yeah. That, I mean, we've done it in 2 hops. We flew from the UK to Canada,
right?
Toronto.
Okay.
And then from there to Pittsburgh, and I mean, those flights are about £850. So if they're
so actually the direct flight is
£600 is incredible value. For return fares. So
absolutely,
this could be quite a winner, I think, for BA.
I suppose the question. I mean, it's access to the US at the end of the day. So I suppose that's a main thing. And of course, it is more or less on this side, isn't it? What I call our side of America. I mean, do you think they'll get the volume though to make it profitable?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy route for BA. I mean, they're going to put 4 flights on a week. They must forecast quite a good usage for that route. So,
it must be always such a risk when you do a new route like this, though, because I mean, it's
well, they'll soon take it off. It's not working.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So hello to Liz.
So in a month's time, in a month's time, we're running a story where the Pittsburgh flight. Yeah. So where are they flying from? Heathrow.
Heathrow. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. I think and see how much that's for the Pittsburgh Air Show. Yeah. Hello, Lisbo Nelson from Portugal. He's in the
he's off to the beach with the wife. Off to the beach. Oh, don't blame you. Absolutely.
Nelson,
that's the way forward. Yeah, definitely.
I hope it's just not a sandy beach. I hate sand. I so hate sand.
Why? What? What's wrong with you, boy? So Andrew Wilson says he often wonders how they research new routes. I'm with him on that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Next story is on the travelandleisure.com
It
website.
is indeed, and sorry, there we go. It's complaining about my privacy.
It always does.
Oh, I have to. Right, okay. Anyway, it's the travelandleisure.com website, and the headline is: "This is." I'll change it. The camera to me, shall I? This is the best economy seat of all the airlines flying today. So when it comes to long-haul flights, having a comfortable seat can make all the difference. In a new ranking from Skytrax, which is quite a reliable source from what I understand for data and stuff, Japan Airlines Skywider seats took the spot for best economy class offering for the third time in the last 4 years. The seats, which JAL introduced on international routes in 2013, have a slim design and organisational features meant to provide travellers with increased comfort. The seats come with an average seat pitch, that's the space between the back of one seat and the back of the next seat, that ranges from 33 to 34 inches, which is not bad at all, is it? Depending on the aircraft. That's very generous compared to many other airlines. For example, JAL seats on the Boeing 767-300ER have an average seat pitch of about 34 inches, while Austrian Airlines seats on the same aircraft have 30 inches. That's a huge difference, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Asiana Airlines, their seats range from 31 to 32 inches, and Air Canada's range from 31 to 33 inches, according to Seat Guru. Now, you were showing me this Seat Guru thing when we were.
Yeah, I love that app. That's really good.
Yeah,
if you're travelling in long haul,
because we had a bit of a sort of like little bit of a running joke, didn't we, between Dana and Captain Jeff, and everybody was busy going on Seat Guru to work out what the seat was like where they'd been given. Anyway, to be able to provide passengers with increased space, the airline also opts for a 2-4-2 configuration on its 787 aircraft, whilst most airlines typically implement a 3-3-3 layout. This allows for the airline to add an additional 5 centimetres of space on its 787s, which has a seat width of about 19 inches. Besides the extra space, seats come with additional storage space underneath, and a plastic bottle holder and accessory pouch, and a 10.6-inch touch panel entertainment monitor. Long-haul economy flights on JAL also include amenities like 2 free checked bags, seasonal in-flight dining menus created in collaboration with noted chefs, a self-service snack bar on the airline's European and North American routes, and mineral water bottled from the Japanese town of Chusan. JAL is a 5-star airline according to Skytrax due to its in-flight cuisine, seats and high-end offerings at first-class airport lounges. Now, presumably, with them not packing them in as tightly as they can, presumably that has an impact on your ticket price. That's the only thing that would worry me a little bit, is perhaps they're charging. I don't know what the prices are for.
I think when it comes to passenger experience, it's hello Don Sebastian, pre-buy guy.
Hello.
I think
one
it's
of the pre-buy guys.
One of the pre-buy guys. Yeah. It's important, I think, that airlines now, because we can't all afford to travel business class.
No, I know.
And I think it's important for airlines to focus a bit heavily on the economy experience, because if you're travelling long haul and you are in economy, which most of us are, if you have a rubbish experience. And the seats are uncomfortable and et cetera, you're not going to really want to travel on that airline again.
No, but then again, also as consumers, to be honest with you, with there being so much competition out there, your decision about, you don't really, if I'm honest, I don't think you really necessarily worry about things like seat pitch, etc. You're more focused on price.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, comfort.
Well, yeah, no. In an ideal world, everybody would go for comfort. But then, if you are in that position where money's not an object, then obviously you'd be going business class every time, wouldn't you? But it's one of those. I mean, your decision. I'm using Pittsburgh as an example here, but I mean, the airline that you flew with, which was Air Canada, but that decision was based purely on that was the best deal you could get at the time.
Definitely, 100%.
You know, and it wasn't so much about the experience you were going to get in an economy and things like that. So, I mean.
But I will say, because I flew back from Pittsburgh in economy with Air Canada, and that was really comfy, very comfy indeed. But that was a Dreamliner, and
Boeing,
yes, and one of the I have to say again, one of the most uncomfortablest trips home I had was with Virgin Atlantic on the 330 in economy. And it wasn't the seat pitch either. There was loads of legroom in economy. It was purely down to the seat, I think, being made of concrete.
Yeah, right.
Because it was the most incredibly uncomfortable seat I think I've ever sat on an aircraft. But
Captain Al's saying in the chat room here, actually, that with the creation of apps such as Skyscanner, it means that airlines have to focus on cost, which is very, very true.
So the next story is on the Manchester Evening News. And it's actually good news. This one is for anyone who's looking for a job within the aviation industry. So the headline is, this airline is looking for nearly 100 cabin crew in Manchester. So good news for any of our UK listeners who live in and around Manchester and want to, and you're young like Owen, and want to do something within the cabin crew kind of thing.
I think he's doing all right. Yeah.
So this airline is recruiting 100 new members to join cabin crew staff in Manchester. EasyJet has announced the new permanent and fixed-term jobs as part of a major nationwide recruitment drive. The airline flies 12 aircraft from Manchester to 52 routes on its fleet of Airbuses and employs more than 8,700 cabin crew, around 350 of whom are based at Manchester. Tina Milton, Director of Cabin Services at EasyJet, said that we're delighted to be opening a recruitment session for more than 90 cabin crew positions at the Manchester base. EasyJet is a fantastic company to work for, with everyone across the airline working together as one team to ensure that we provide the excellent customer service to all our passengers. Being cabin crew is a very rewarding role. She says that our teams are extremely professional and energetic with a real sense of fun. We're looking forward to welcoming passengers and people onto the aircraft and to meet our growing team of flight cabin crew. So new recruits will complete a series of online pre-coursework tasks and will then undertake 3 weeks through a thorough practical training in demonstrators in such areas as safety procedures, aviation security and first aid. EasyJet's onboard team includes 3 flight attendants and a cabin manager who work closely with the captain and first officer. The recruitment announcement follows the recent launch of EasyJet's cabin crew apprenticeship scheme, offering 25 apprentices a long program combining training at EasyJet's Gatwick Academy and on-the-job experience. EasyJet was the first airline in the UK to offer apprenticeships under the new government apprenticeship standards. And if you want to apply for this particular cabin attendant job, you can go on to careers.easyjet.com. So that's I wonder what their pay is like. To look into that.
I don't know. It's
I'd like to do that. A bit old now, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You never too old.
Mind you, I've seen Delta's cabin crew, and they can be.
Wow. You're brave.
I'm only mirroring what's been said on APG already.
Okay, all right. Yes, I rather like the idea of a
senior cabin
crew.
crew.
I must admit, because I don't know whether they were check-in desk or what, but I spent a bit of time in Stansted Airport yesterday, and I spent a little bit of time over by the Emirates check-in desk, and it was quite nice actually to see that a couple of the people. The uniform was great. But with Emirates, it was nice to see a couple of what I call more mature ladies who were in charge on the desk, and I thought that was very nice to see. I thought, everybody's obsessed with this whole youth thing. It's overrated. I'm only saying that because now I'm not. But anyway,
What, youthful?
Yeah, indeed.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
You can't really.
It's doing the podcast
You can't really put you and I in the category of youthful anymore. I'm afraid. Yeah, it's like we've both got grey hair now. It's all gone horribly wrong.
Andrew Wilson, actually going back to the last story, Andrew Wilson in the chat room said that the Midland Metro must have the hardest seats he's ever sat on.
Really?
I have to look that one up.
Right.
So moving on to next,
with a view to avoiding.
him,
absolutely. Yes, an unusual sort of. It's almost a bit like an Am Finally story, really, but it's on the CNBC website. Fake news.
No, I like this story.
Oh, do you?
Carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's come under the category of airlines, but it is. Unknown dirty socks odour diverts Spirit Airlines flight. Well, that's always nice. 7 to 10 passengers were taken to an area hospital. Fire officials said officials were concerned that some sort of chemical was leaking, making passengers sick, but nothing unusual was detected aboard the plane. So this is different. So Spirit Airlines flight 779 from LaGuardia to Fort Lauderdale was diverted to Myrtle Beach on Thursday after passengers were sickened by an odour they say smelt like dirty socks. The airline said the 220 passenger flight was diverted after an odour developed in a section of the aircraft. Somebody had beans or something the night before. Some passengers experienced burning throats and chest pains. Blooming heck, those are strong. So, is this one of these panic stories again? Though it's like one person says it's really vile, and then anyway, reports are we have several occupants on a plane exposed to an unknown substance. Myrtle Beach Fire Rescue was heard saying over radio on Broadcastify, according to the WNBC report. 7 to 10 passengers were taken to hospital, fire officials said. Their condition was not immediately clear. Officials were concerned that some sort of chemical was making passengers sick, but nothing unusual was detected aboard the plane. After specific monitoring and hazmat crews entering the fuselage, no substances were found. Myrtle Beach Fire Department's Lieutenant Christian Sleeker said the plane is all clear. Photos posted to a social media site showed passengers waiting on the tarmac at Myrtle Beach for another aeroplane to take them to Florida, according to WNBC. FlightAware reports the flight took off from South Carolina around 3:30 on Friday morning and landed safely in Fort Lauderdale around 5 a.m, about 5 hours after its original scheduled landing.
And Captain Al, in the chat room,
Spirit Airlines was also not immediately available to respond to CNBC's request for comment.
I was just say, Captain Al has said, and I think he's being serious here. Are you all right, Al? Captain Al has said that smelly socks is a common indicator of hydrocarbon poisoning and can be fatal.
Ooh. Hence, well, to be fair, probably hence why they were taking it so seriously, perhaps then.
Yeah, the smelly sock smell.
Yeah.
It could be, you see those videos on YouTube of passengers.
But then you see, I've been
de-sock.
What we have to remember,
flights.
I gotta say, what we have to remember is I've shared a hotel room with you, and when you take your sock, I've never expected. I can see why that would be considered harmful.
It's comfort feet.
Proper smelly socks. That's
hence the reason I have no socks on today.
No, indeed, absolutely.
So moving on to the next story. This one is on the Mail Online. .co.uk, Daily Mail Online, and it's another one of these stories. We had one of these not so long back. So the headline is, this is quite good for the Daily Mail, the flight from hail.
Right.
Okay. Plane is forced to make an emergency landing after massive hailstones smash its cockpit windows. So, blimey, this is one of those airlines that's hard to pronounce.
Good luck.
Tianjin Airlines.
Tianjin Airways.
Yeah, it's an airline anyway.
Yeah.
This aircraft was flying in China while encountering severe weather, and the plane had to make an emergency landing in China after being battered by hailstones at 32,000 feet. Matt's got the pictures there. He'll pop them up in a minute.
Yeah, sorry,
So
I've just seen them. That's
huge lumps of
frightening.
ice smashed the aircraft's nose cone and shattered both the windscreens in the cockpit, according to pictures released by the Chinese Aviation Authority, the CAAC. All passengers and crew members on the flight were safe, according to the carrier. Blimey,
Look at that.
Very bad hailstones. The domestic flight was travelling from Tianjin. There we go. I'm going to say that's the correct
Let's say
pronunciation.
Tianjin until someone corrects us.
A major
Somebody
Chinese
will correct us, I'm sure.
A major, perhaps one of our Chinese listeners could help us there.
Yeah.
A major Chinese port city to Haikou, a popular beach destination, when it encountered the severe weather. Flight number GS7865 was struck by hailstones about 2 hours into its 4-hour-long journey. Pictures taken after the emergency landing show the plane's nose cone had a large dent.
You're
You
not
could say
kidding.
that.
Yes.
And was seriously damaged, and the outer layer of its windscreens were broken. According to information, Flight Radar 24, the plane took off at 3:26 local time PM, and it was due to arrive at Hakumelian International Airport at 6:25. Now, Matt's just put a picture there on the YouTube stream of the windscreen, and that's fairly well cracked. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to remain in service. Let's put it that way.
The aircraft is said to be an A320-200, which can carry typically 158 passengers. The aircraft was cruising at about 32,152 feet when the hail incident occurred. In an online statement, the airline said the A320 plane was diverted and it made a safe landing, and all the passengers and crew got off unhurt. The flight resumed its journey in the evening and arrived. I think they must have got a different aircraft for that.
I was going to say, yeah.
It remains unclear if the airline changed the aircraft for the remainder of the journey. I think it's safe to say they wouldn't.
I
have
would
flown
be very
that
surprised
aircraft
if an engineer went, no, that'll be all right.
unless they have an incredibly fast crew, engineering crew that could change that nose cone.
I mean, right. This is where I wish that we had access to sort of, well, in fact, actually, I don't know if something that Captain Al might be able to help us with, or anyone in our chat room, really. But I mean, the windscreen thing is quite straightforward. I would have thought fairly straightforward to take out bond and put back in. But with the damage to that nose cone, I mean, realistically,
they come off as one piece.
Yeah, but they're unlikely to have one of those
laying around
at an airport, which isn't necessarily one of their bases. Do you know what I mean?
But it's not just the damage to the nose cone and the windows. They don't actually show here that the full edge, like the leading edges of the wings and stuff, because they can also be damaged. Like the engine cowlings that go around the engines can be damaged. There's a lot of damage that can be done by hail, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, Matt? We get hail here. In the UK we
did yesterday,
and we get hailstones here which are fairly hefty in size, but this is quite incredible damage here.
It is absolutely. I'd just love to know more about how I don't know.
Some engineers.
I think so. I think definitely need some engineers. There's no two ways about it.
So the next story, Matt, is on itvnews.com. It's regarding one of our local-ish airports here. It's about an hour and 30-minute drive from where we live here.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's an airport you've been to about 1 million times.
Yeah, in fact, last night, to be fair. But, so ITV News. Travel chaos as flights delayed. Huge queues at Stansted Airport and waits of up to 5 hours for Eurotunnel. So passengers have described scenes of utter chaos at Stansted Airport while travellers wishing to use the Eurotunnel are experiencing delays of between 2 and 5 hours amid extreme weather conditions. Elsewhere, delays are affecting flights at other UK airports and travellers heading for the port of Dover, and were told to expect long queues on the surrounding roads. Saturday is expected to be one of the busiest days, so that's today is expected to be one of the busiest days for travel of the year, but recent hot weather and thunderstorms have brought havoc on the travel network. Passengers using Eurotunnel terminal in Folkestone were warned they faced delays of 2.5 hours for low vehicles, as in cars and vans less than 6 foot or 1.85 metres in height, and up to 5 hours for high vehicles, anything bigger than 6 foot or 1.85 metres. On Twitter, the cross-channel service warned people not to travel unless absolutely necessary. The long days on Saturday come after many Eurotunnel passengers saw their trains cancelled or faced huge delays on Friday after the air conditioning units on the shuttles failing, but by 6 p.m. these had cleared. Now, actually,
the story does go on. It's most about trains, really.
Yeah,
not
so
planes.
no one knows. Passengers at Stansted Airport took to social media to post videos of huge queues in the terminal. In fact, actually, if I'm honest with you, I saw this person posting this video when I was there yesterday. There was, I have to confess, the queue was predominantly for the. This is predominantly for the Ryanair customer service desk. So I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, a spokesperson for the airport said the queues were caused by passengers who stayed overnight in the airport trying to rebook flights with airlines. Now, I thought they'd stop that. I thought you weren't allowed to stay in Stansted overnight anymore. Anyway,
I don't know.
There are no cancellations on Saturday, but there are delays because of the knock-on effect and some restrictions because of storm activity in Europe, they said. All the advice is that if you are due to travel today, check with your airline about your individual flight. Passengers also took to social media to vent their frustration. I'll bore you with all the details, but it does say that Gatwick Airport also warned of delays, writing on Twitter that adverse weather conditions across Europe are affecting flights both in and outbound from Gatwick, and this may result in delays and cancellations. Similarly, Luton Airport tweeted, due to thunderstorms activity across Europe this morning, air traffic control restrictions are in place and some flights may be subject to delay or cancellation. Now, the person who I was dropping off at the airport yesterday, their flight was supposed to depart at 10 minutes past 9, and I think it was a good 10:30, nearly 11:15 by the time they finally took off. It's just crazy. I mean, that thunderstorm was
pretty bad,
intense last night. I'm not at all surprised.
I mean, Matt uses it as well, but it's at the lightningmaps.org website, which you can go on to track thunderstorms. I think most people know about lightningmaps.org. Really good little site you can use to track thunderstorms. But I remember looking last night, and there was a storm cell, probably the size of East Anglia. Moving across. Yeah,
literally the size of it. I mean, the scary thing is I mean, the rain. There's a. I don't know if I can bring it up, but actually, because I'll see if I can find it while I'm chatting to you, if I can get it to come up. Because this, I mean, the rain here in the UK. We do love a rain story here in the UK. I know, but it's only a short video, so I will try and get it to play, because it's just on my WhatsApp here. But this is something that I sent someone last night, and there we go.
Blimey, we had rain.
Yeah, I'd never seen anything like it. Anyway, sorry, that's not very. That wasn't worth it. I'm sorry. But yeah, but it literally followed me. It literally followed me from Stansted more or less all the way to home, and like sort of went to bed. But it wasn't that bad here, actually. The storms overnight weren't too bad, but yeah, causing absolute chaos at the local airports, I have no doubt. I mean, thunder is a tricky thing to ignore, isn't it, really?
Certainly is if you're flying through it.
Yeah, definitely.
So the next story is on the KTVA.com website, The Voice of Alaska. And you're all going to have to.
Sorry, somebody going back to that story before. Jacob Darlington Brown said might need some speed tape on that one.
Exactly. Yeah, gaffer tape.
Yeah.
So this story then on KTVA, The Voice of Alaska website, and you're all going to have to bear with me.
Oh, you're not going to do a terrible American accent, are you?
No.
Okay.
But just bear with me, Matt, on this story.
Okay. Right, so I'm finding a video. Okay. Yeah.
So the headline then is Airport becomes Bearport as FedEx gets furry visitor. So cargo workers at Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport got a special delivery of a cute form this week as a black bear ran across the tarmac. Facebook video posted by James Batman shows the bear running past crews handling cargo at airport's FedEx facility. The workers stop what they're doing to watch the bear as it runs past them without even stopping. The ramp agent at Penair, who works near FedEx, said he saw the bear around 2 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. He was driving along the airport road and looked to his left and saw what looked to be a dog. He looked back again and realised it was a small black bear. Ken Marsh with the Alaska Department of Fish and Game said bears are a frequent sight around the airport. Well, authorities have killed one bear this summer at the airport's parking garage. There we go. For those of you watching on the YouTube stream, that's quite good.
That's awful. There's just like already killed one bear. That's terrible.
So airport spokesperson Trudy Wazel said the bear didn't cause any injuries or air traffic disruptions. 2 biologists are under contact to handle the area wildlife issues involving bears, birds and moose. The airport is very proactive at managing the wildlife, she said as well. Cargo crews called airport police and fire, but Batman said that the bear didn't stay around too long. You can see, look at him bounding along there.
That's just, I can't believe that they... Oh, poor little bear, honestly.
So apparently he saw it cross the runway and it eventually made its way back to the woods safely.
Right, well, very good.
It's like the chicken sort of story. You know, why did the bear cross the runway
to
get back to the woods?
Perhaps very excited about. I don't know.
Something about I love bears. I don't know what it is. I love bears. But there we go. Bit of a furry story there.
Yeah, indeed.
So next story.
Yes, so this could be a bit of a challenge here because the next story
is a picture one. I know.
So wish me luck here. But anyway, so China Airlines and Airbus unveil a joint A350 livery, which is quite cool. So China Airlines has released an image of a special livery which will feature on its 14th and final A350 aircraft in partnership with the air manufacturer Airbus. So the aircraft features China Airlines' blue corporate identity interwoven with Airbus's classic carbon fibre pattern, along with the airline's red plum blossom design on the tail fin. The carrier said that the combination of high-tech style together with the beauty of traditional weaving symbolises the fusion of Eastern and Western cultures. The A350-900 aircraft will enter service by this winter. The livery is the latest in a series of special designs featuring on China Airlines A350 aircraft, including 2 avian-themed designs depicting birds. The endemic. Birds.
You're right there.
No. So it's the avian-themed designs depicting birds endemic to Taiwan. That's what I was trying to say.
There we go.
In December 2017, the carrier launched non-stop flights between Taipei and London Gatwick, operated by the Airbus A350. For a tried and tested review of the A350 business class product, on a flight between Taipei and I should have stopped reading that, really, shouldn't he? So I'll pop
that
picture
screen
up.
That looks really good.
While you're talking about
we
it.
We obviously, at Farnborough this past weekend,
we the
saw
A350.
the A350-1000. And this livery, I think it looks really nice.
It does.
I like that.
Yeah, let me just see if I can adjust that picture a little bit.
Just that little picture a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
But no, they back to the 350. That they had a display of the -1000 at Farnborough, and it was amazing seeing that aircraft flying because it really put on a fantastic display.
Oh, it certainly did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was really good. There we go. Let's see, we can see it in all its entirety now. Just give me a second.
There we go. For those who are watching on the YouTube feed, you can see the new livery there.
It's good, isn't it? Because the A350 that we were looking at now, what was that? That was the
longest one. That's a -1000.
That was the
biggest one they do.
It?
The 350. Yeah.
Well, the one that we saw at Farnborough was 1000, was it?
-1000. Yeah.
But that had that was grey, wasn't it? So
that was in the Airbus paint job, as they call it. Yeah, the test flying paint job.
That was his last flight as well, wasn't it?
The guy who flew
the guy who was flying that was his final...
He was good friends with Nick. I think he's flown with Captain Nick as well.
I'll tell you, he knows everyone.
Friends in high places.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next story, talking about Farnborough. And the next story is on the cargofacts.com website. And the headline, Farnborough 2018 wide-bodied freighters and narrow-bodied passenger aircraft. So this is all about the air show orders and commitments that were made at Farnborough over the course of
because it's predominantly a trade show, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, they do a sort of like a couple of public days, but it's predominantly a trade show, isn't it?
So both Boeing and Airbus fared well, with Boeing announcing 673 orders and commitments during the show, Airbus announcing 93 firm orders and 338 memorandums of understanding last week at Farnborough. Unlike shows in the past, giant orders for large wide-body aircraft were not the focus of this year's show in Farnborough. Taiwan-based Starlux and other undisclosed customer signed memorandums for a total of 25 A350s, while Boeing registered a new purchase agreement with Novus Aviation Capital for 4 777-300ERs. Additionally, British Airways, Nev's favourite, announced that it's planned to lease 3 777-300ERs, but the aircraft are part of a previous existing order. Medium wide bodies fared somewhat better, with Boeing taking firm orders from 3 customers for 24 787 family aircraft, plus commitments for 18 from other airlines, while Airbus booked commitments for 40 A330s from AirAsia X and an undisclosed customer. The remainder of the 1,104 orders and commitments were for narrow-body passenger aircraft, plus a small number of mostly wide-body freighters. As was the case in Paris last year, the lack of large wide-body orders stems from slowing of the region that has been most hungry for the airline size category. Carriers in the Gulf region, such as Emirates, Etihad, and Qatar Airways, each already maintain huge fleets of wide-body passenger jets and have more on order, despite recent cutbacks. And Matt popped up the chart there on the screen while we were doing that one.
Absolutely.
But DHL is ordered 14. Use a pillow; it's a bit more comfy. Is ordered 14 777Fs, the freighter version. And GCAS, who have decided to convert another 20 737-800s to converted freighter configurations as well. Volga-Debner, the cargo carrying group, they've took 5 more 747-8Fs. And have a memorandum of understanding for 29 777 freighters as well. Qatar Airways, they've made a decision to firm up a order for 5 777 freighters, and that they announced in April. So it's safe to say that, I mean, it's been a busy show, definitely for the big ones, the big Boeing and Airbus manufacturers there. But as it says, the demand for wide body, the big 380s and stuff, is kind of dropped off a bit, but I think Airbus have done incredibly well this year with their with the A220 at the air show.
We did see that briefly on the Friday. It was there actually.
You did.
We did see it on the Friday. I was lucky to get a look at it. We didn't get on board, I don't think, did we? But,
they've done really well with that aircraft. Airbus have.
Indeed.
So last story, and this one is on the businessinsider.com website. And this one is a top 10.
Oh no!
I know. And this particular top 10. So this one is. We were talking earlier about economy and business class travel, most of which is economy for us people here. And this particular story then is about 10 airlines that have the most luxurious first-class cabins in the world.
Right, in the world.
So we are going to start from, number 10, I think we'll start from.
See, I found the music and everything.
Well
Are you impressed?
So, in at
number 10.
So at number 10, it's Thai Airways. They made the list because of their Royal First Class cabin, which is designed with comfort in mind, featured on their Airbus A380s and renovated Boeing 747s. Royal First Class includes chilled champagne, 23-inch wide seats, flat-screen TVs, and 500 music channels, and 180-degree lie-flat beds.
Ooh, in at number 9.
Number 9, it's Grant McCarran's favourite. It's Qantas Airways. So they made the list because of their elite operation, a sheepskin mattress, armrest control, 17-inch screen await the lucky passenger here ready to serve signature dishes from a tasting menu designed by Neil Perry. Qantas's award-winning Cellar in the Sky wine selection is a nice indulgence as well.
Ooh, in at number 8.
Number 8, it's Cathay Pacific Airways. So they made the list because they are the flag carrier of Hong Kong, and they showcase their first class, which is all about the premium service, leather seats, manually controlled massages, and the 500 thread count duvet that keeps you warm while on the lie flat beds. And also steaming jasmine rice can be served directly to your seat while you enjoy your entertainment on a 17-inch personal TV screen.
It certainly does look very, very spacious, doesn't it? What are we up to? Number 7, I think.
It's everyone's favourite one to pronounce. It's Qatar Airways. And they made the list because of their premium first-class service, combining luxury with elegance. Qatar Airways first-class cabin includes a lie-flat bed with fret linen and an ultra-comfy duvet. 4,000 entertainment options at your fingertips. A world-class menu that has previously included filet mignon, seared scallops, and shrimp kebab.
Pardon? Oh, what now?
Shrimp kebab.
In at number 6.
At number 6 then is All Nippon Airways, ANA. And they are the largest airline in Japan, with a private square cabin with sliding doors that ensure no fly will be disturbed on the journey. And the high panel walls create a wooden cove in the sky. Delicious dishes on board are prepared in either Japanese kaiseki style or in the elegance of modern European cuisine on ANA, and the privacy is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look pretty incredible, doesn't it? Anyway, it's middle of a diddle. It's number 5.
Number 5, it's one of my favourites. It's Emirates, and the Dubai-based airline, which has grown in reputation to be one of the top flying experiences in the world. Their first-class suite is essentially a fully enclosed hotel room with temperature controls, mood lighting, leather seats that were inspired by Mercedes-Benz.
Does she come with it?
Hundreds of entertainment options and a 10-year-old wine cellar.
What?
Make Emirates truly a first-class experience.
In at number 4.
Number 4, this looks awesome. Lufthansa, and the German airline is Europe's largest in both size and fleet. Lufthansa's first-class experience includes being met by a personal assistant at the airport and a wide reclining seat, a fine wine and culinary delights, and multiple in-flight entertainment options.
Like it. Sorry, I was struggling to get the picture to come up there, but I will just pop it up.
There
So
we
we'll
go.
just pause there briefly
does look
for a
nice.
moment. Does look. I'd rather like
Love
the
those
wine
window
glass.
shades.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, you wouldn't have that though. You just want to look out, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, it's number 3.
Number 3, bonjour, it's Air France.
I beg your pardon. Bonjour, sir. Bonjour,
Exactly.
not bonjour.
So the French flagship carrier Air France provides one of the most memorable first-class experiences, as each of their La Première first-class seats feels like a luxury hotel room. Famous chefs like Joël Robuchon,
very good.
Guy
Very
Martin,
good.
Regis Marchand inspire the diverse food menu service over a Bernard-designed porcelain china.
That really does.
Wow,
look
that
really
looks
quite
nice.
Quite luxurious, doesn't it? Anyway, it is a new entry. It's in at number 2.
Number 2, it's Middle Eastern carrier. It's Etihad Airways. Now this looks pretty damn nice. The founded 15 years ago, Etihad Airways is the flag carrier of the United Arab Emirates. Etihad Airways is another global jewel, as their first-class cabin is essentially a giant first apartment with 6'10" fully lie-flat bed, along with access to
I wonder
Etihad's
how
in-flight
much that
showers
is.
and luxury lounge. It is awesome. That is pretty. That is a hotel room in the sky.
That is literally that, isn't it? It is ridiculous. I mean,
That's not
we
an
could all dream,
aircraft.
can't
That's
we?
honestly.
That is literally a flat in the skies, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, that's all it is. That is just ridiculous, isn't it?
So,
and finally, in at number 1.
So in at number 1, it's ranked by Skytrax as the world's best airline in 2018. It's Singapore Airlines, and
Wow.
the airline is also ranked as the best first-class airline. Their premium first-class service has set the standard for in-air accommodation, says here. Private space, extra wide seats, mood lighting, and 1,000 entertainment options are just some of the indulgences of the guests one gets when flying with Singapore Airlines. I mean, that's just silly.
I've seen worse hotel rooms. I'm not going to... I've seen... Yeah, that is just... I love the sofa. I like the chair. It's obviously... That is the seat, presumably, that you have to be in for takeoff and landing, isn't it?
That's not a flight chair. That's a business chair.
Put your little lap belt on. That is incredible, isn't it?
That is pretty nice.
It is really nice. Well, and number one, quite rightly so, I think, by the look of that.
I know, that is very nice indeed.
I wonder if Sam Chewie's had a fly in one of those.
He has actually, he put some really good stuff on YouTube, got his own YouTube stuff and that, and he does some great things with the various airlines. And he travels first class everywhere, does Sam.
Well, I bet he does. Mind you, when there's an airline, I mean, when you presumably this is all done by invite, isn't it? Because he's got such a rep for it, hasn't he? I mean, it's
going back to the jasmine rice we were talking about, one of the I forget who it was now. I've just forgotten now. But Neil Lamb once said he prefers his rice in a bowl, not directly on the seat.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, I suppose it could make for a bit of a squishy.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yes, indeed.
And Barbara's in the chat room.
She made it. Well done, Barbara. Yes, absolutely.
She's made it into the chat room. So
it says here in my show notes here, it says run VT from Farnborough.
Run VT. So for those of you who are watching it live on the YouTube stream, we've got a little video here to play at first. This is a video that me and Nev shot. It's a kind of a intro-y type video to the Farnborough Air Show, which was, as we said, an awesome weekend. So if you're ready,
here we go.
Here we go. So you join me here then at Farnborough 2018. It's the second day here, it's Sunday, and the weather today is a bit different to yesterday, slightly overcast, but I can say it is incredibly humid today and also hot. It's been a great last few days here at Farnborough. We've met the usual, all the family, all the friends of the podcast show, which has been amazing. And there's a few of us left here at the show today. We have had another great start to the day here, seen some great aircraft, great displays. We saw earlier the Breitling Wing Walkers do their display just behind us here across the flight line. We're literally on the media centre roof here and have a fantastic view over the whole of the airfield. You can probably see behind me there with the C-130 over there, along with the Chinook, and also just in the distance you can probably see the A350-1000, which also done a awesome display yesterday here at the show. And one of the biggest points I think is to make for the 350 is the fact of how quiet the aircraft is. This aircraft took off just behind us here on the runway, the main runway here at Farnborough, and was incredibly quiet. The engines on this aircraft are very quiet indeed, and it's safe to say I think this will be a definite winner for Airbus. But as I said, you can probably see as well, just over across there, you've got the C-17 over there from Dover, AMC there, which is on display, a static display I might add, not flying in the air display. But like I said, a great view here from the media centre, and hopefully we'll have some more displays that are coming up later on, including, I think, the 350 might be flying again. I think possibly, Nev, today, they might be seeing that again today. And coming up a bit later on, there will be the Red Bull Air Race guys with their gaggle of aircraft, which look awesome in the polished aluminium. These aircraft, if you see these, the B-24, I think, or B-24, you see these, they are completely polished aluminium fuselages and look absolutely fantastic. So if you look, if Nev can do his cameraman work and just pan across here, you can probably see some of the helicopters that are on static display here at the show. We've got a Coast Guard rescue helicopter just down there from Germany, that one. We've also got one of Augusta Westland's 189s just down there as well on static display, along with a Royal Navy Lynx, which is just across over there, looking quite nice in its grey colours. Captain Al would love that, I think. And also the Sikorsky S-61, which is just in its own little spaced area just across from me here, another favourite of the Coast Guard. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up this little intro into what is, well, it has become an epic year again here at Farnborough for not just us, but also for APG and the Plane Safety Podcast, not forgetting Pilot Pip, he's here as well. But it's been a great year again. We're going to say a massive thanks to everyone at the Farnborough Media Centre for giving us access to everything that we've had this year at the show. So big thanks to you guys there. And well, that's it from me, Carlos here, and we're going to send you back to the studio.
You've always wanted to do that, haven't you?
I know. I always wanted to say those words.
From me back to the studio.
From me back to the studio.
Back to me in the studio.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was really good. But no, I can't stress enough. You know, we were talking about this at the meetup on the Saturday. Just how blinking quiet that A350 was. Yeah. You know, it took off in front of us on the display, and those Rolls-Royce engines must be made of cotton wool, I think.
I think they're made of something a little bit more industrial.
Very quiet indeed. Yeah.
It was fantastic. So we're going to move on to actually an actual news story now, which we were lucky enough to get to cover while we were there, and this was to do with the handing over of Airbus's latest A380, and that was to this fascinating little company called HiFly.
This is an ex-Singapore Airlines A380 that HiFly have got, but Nev got the chance to do a bit of videoing at the press conference.
Indeed. So there's two parts to this. So the first one that we're going to cover, basically, we recorded the presentation, or what I call the press conference, I suppose, for want of a better word. And so this is the press conference as they were handing over. But they're telling you a bit more about HiFly and their ethos, because their ethos is quite interesting, actually, isn't it?
As you need to look at the livery of the aircraft.
You do, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And a very warm welcome. Marine conservation is one of the activities of the Mirpuri Foundation, and we are very proud to announce today the launch of a new campaign, the Save the Coral Reefs campaign. Mirpuri Foundation is HiFly sustainability partner, and HiFly is a leading wet lease airline supporting over 140 airlines and operating worldwide. HiFly is also an airline with a strong environmental agenda. And amongst many other initiatives, it was the first airline to commit to become single-use plastic-free and the first airline to become carbon neutral before the turn of this decade. Coral reefs are an extremely important ocean ecosystem. Over 25% of all marine species depend on coral reefs to survive. Coral reefs protect many coastal areas from erosion. Coral reefs have up to $375 billion of annual contribution to the global economy, and hundreds of millions of people depend on this to survive and to sustain their families and children. But coral reefs are also very fragile ecosystems that is being destroyed at an unprecedented level, mainly due to climate change, global warming, ocean acidification, pollution, massive dump of harmful chemicals in our ocean, and wrong fishing techniques. Coral reefs are in danger. Half of the coral reefs have been destroyed along the last 30 years. And if we do nothing to change the course of things, the remaining 50% will be gone by 2050. And most of us will still be around to regret our irresponsible behavior and having to explain to our children what we have done. For a big problem, nothing better than a big aircraft to help spreading the message. The Airbus A380 is the biggest and the largest aircraft in the world. It carries more passengers than any other aircraft, up to 850 passengers. At the same time, it is a very efficient aircraft, thanks to its unique design, huge wings, and its Rolls-Royce Trent 900 new generation engines. This unique combination of technology and massive capacity makes the A380 an eco-friendly form of transportation with very low carbon emission per passenger and per kilometer. It is therefore not only the most comfortable aircraft in the skies today, but it is also a responsible way to travel, minimizing our carbon footprint. Alone, we are a drop, together we are an ocean. Let's take action now and protect our coral reefs. Now is the time to decide. Shall we keep and recover our beautiful, colorful and pristine coral reefs, or shall we let them die? You decide which side are you on. Thank you. And now I would like to invite anybody that has not visited the aircraft yet to have a look, both from outside and inside, and consider the Airbus A380 on your options on your next travel to one long-haul destination. Thank you very much.
And of course, that is exactly what Nev did with Captain Al. They were lucky enough to get on board, and I haven't got the name of the captain who gave them a little demo, but yeah, here is basically a little walk through the inside of the HiFly A380.
So welcome to the A380. We are in this aircraft which is operated by HiFly. On this aircraft we have 471 seats in a 3-class configuration. You have 12 first-class suites on the main deck. You have 311 economy seats, again on the main deck, which is what you see behind me. Then we will take the stairs at the back of this plane. We'll go to the upper deck, where we again have 88 economy class seats. We'll move forward to our business class cabin with 60 business class seats, 60. We'll come down the forward stairs, at which point we can have a look at the cockpit of this great aircraft, and that would be your tour of the A380 today. So this is a 10 abreast configuration. You have 3, 4, 3. A380 has the widest cabin for any commercial airliner that is flying today. These seats are 19 inches wide, and we have 19 inches wide economy class seats throughout. So as I said, there are 399 economy class seats, all of them 19 inches, which is good for passenger comfort. There are 22 galleys on this aircraft, 15 toilets, lavatories. Just a fun fact, there are 220 windows on an A380 and 16 doors. Thanks to its spacious cabin, the A380 offers unparalleled passenger comfort. If there is one aircraft that passengers have a clear favorite when it comes to long-haul flying, it's the A380. And that is also because of the quietness of this aircraft. As passengers, I mean, one of the things we most common hear is that when they fly on the A380, they think it's really the quietest and it's the smoothest flight that they can take. So now we'll take these stairs to the upper deck. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
So welcome to the upper deck of this aircraft. So once again, we're in the economy class section, 88 economy class seats in a 2-4-2 configuration. Now we will see the business class cabin with 60 business class seats. So as you can see, I mean, these are really wide business class seats. In fact, they are the widest business class seats that are possible, that are there on an aircraft. And these business class seats can turn into full flat beds, and with a mattress on top of it, they become a very comfortable bed. You have 15.4-inch LCD screen and in-seat power supply and USB port in all cabin classes. So these seats are 23 inches wide, and when they become a full flat bed, it turns into 34 inches.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. And another thing, since we're on the upper deck of the A380, just to let you know that the A380's upper deck is the only wide body upper deck, full wide body upper deck for any aircraft, commercial aircraft that is available today.
Good morning, so I can tell you something about this area. This is the galley that you prepare food for business. I can open this, we have a full complete bar, or you can close this and display the drinks here. And passengers from business class can come here to drink, or we can display here so duty free. Here we have an elevator, lift as well, so you can take food from the first class upward to the business class, or the opposite, send food from the business to the first class downstairs. And here we have some cabinets that we can warm some bread. We can warm here the dishes, the plates, and that's it. And next to this we have the other galley that we can prepare food also for the business or for the economy. As you can see, we have some ovens here. And microwaves to warm some soups as well.
I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it?
It's nice to see actually that they left the original Singapore Airlines interior in the aircraft.
Yeah, they did.
They've obviously took the branding off. The branding's not on there for the Singapore Airlines stuff, but
well,
yeah, they've.
See, I'm a bit of a believer in the fact that, you know, if it's not broke, why fix it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
it's a good idea.
It's a nice
because the Singapore seats were quite nice.
Yeah, indeed. The whole thing very amazing, really, wasn't it?
No, well done to Nev and Captain Al. They
were doing that on the Friday, and I'll tell you what, security was so tight trying to get anywhere near that thing. I mean, so tight that me and Owen didn't get to go on board.
I think there was a 2-hour window on the Saturday and Sunday when they were allowing people to go on board the aircraft to have a look round. So yeah,
absolutely.
It was good.
And this was on the Friday, that we were doing it, and we missed. Myself and Owen missed the window by 1 minute, and the security wouldn't let us on board. Yeah, you know, which I understand. But we did get to watch the press conference from the other side of the fence.
But well done to
Nev. Thanks to Nev for all the hard work in getting that all done. So so it is actually one of the news items that we were looking at, and I thought, well, for a change, actually, we can actually run our own.
PTUK exclusive.
What he said
exactly. Yeah. So we have got some military news to come up next,
and then a little piece from Al, because there is another big air show that's been going on, and Al literally left Farnborough and immediately went to Oshkosh. So,
he did. So
we've got a little piece to
we're going to whiz through some military news. Some nice stories this week.
Yeah, indeed.
And then we've got the special Al video for you at the end. If you're ready, Matt.
Yes.
Let's go.
No, I'm not.
No?
Sorry,
Okay.
I changed my mind. Yes, but I am now. So let's go.
So the first news story in the military segment this week. This one is on Sky News' website and popped up earlier this week. And it looks like our friends in Russia are at it again. I know. Tickling our borders,
tickling our coastlines.
Yeah. So the headline: Royal Air Force Typhoon sent to intercept Russian bomber plane over Black Sea. So 2 Royal Air Force jets based in Romania were launched in response to a Russian Su-24 Fencer aircraft flying near NATO airspace. The Typhoons were scrambled to intercept the bomber airspace, or in the NATO airspace over the Black Sea. The 2 jets based in Romania were launched in response, and it was quite a quick progression, I think, from ground to being in the air, because these jets are on a kind of quick response, a QRA. And in a statement, the Royal Air Force said its pilots patrol the skies for a short time as a deterrent after the Russian aircraft was spotted close to infringing NATO airspace.
Right. What does that mean exactly?
The Typhoons were operating from the Mihal Kolganis.
Very good.
It's a big name. Kolganis
Yeah.
Air Base near Constanta on the Black Sea coast. A pilot from one fighter squadron said that they received the message and sprinted to the jets with the engineers, fired up the aircraft and took off all within a matter of minutes, it says here. They were then vectored towards the unknown Russian aircraft, who was close to infringing NATO airspace. The Russian aircraft didn't enter NATO airspace, so we were ordered to patrol the skies for a short period of time as a deterrent until finally returning to the airbase. He said that they routinely conduct air policing in the UK, so the event is familiar and went seamlessly. The Royal Air Force mission in Romania is part of NATO's assurance measures introduced in 2014. It's the latest intervention, which comes amid heightened tensions between the UK and Russia following the Novichok poisoning of former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter in Salisbury. But, a safe outcome, obviously, from this, and it's just, it's a case of, you come here and we'll come and see you for a little chat, and then you can go home and we'll go home.
I don't like it. The whole thing makes me really nervous, but then, I am well known for being a bit of a wuss, so that's fine. No, I don't know why everybody just can't sort of like stay where they're supposed to be and not give it a go, frankly. Anyway, on to the next story.
Next story. This one's Flight Global for you.
Flight Global. It's the United States Air Force offers a rare glimpse of the VC-25B configuration.
Ooh.
So the US Air Force Force's $3.9 billion contract with Boeing to modify two 747-8 commercial airliners into VC-25B's presidential aircraft, commonly known as Air Force One, offered a rare glimpse into the aircraft configurations. So the aircraft modifications will include integration of a military GPS into its flight management system and identification of friend or foe capabilities, according to a justification and approval for other than full and open competition document filed by the USAF. That was not very well written. Boeing was selected as the program's prime contractor without competition, as no other company has the knowledge of the 747-8, which is hardly a surprise, frankly, needed to heavily modify without significant increases in price, according to the justification. So the United States Air Force plans to replace its current fleet of presidential aircraft, which is two 747-200 based VC-25A aircraft delivered in 1991, with two 747-8 originally built for the Russian carrier Transaero, which filed for bankruptcy in 2015 before it could take delivery. The new presidential aircraft are scheduled. See, I mentioned the word Russia again. It's all getting a bit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's so funny. That
yeah. The new presidential aircraft are scheduled to begin flying in December 2024. The contract announced on the 17th of July made formal a handshake agreement President Donald Trump reached with Boeing Chief Executive Dennis Muilenburg in February. The USAF says it will save more than $1.4 billion by using already built 747-8s. Other modifications to the 747-8s include replacing the existing auxiliary power unit, usually a Pratt & Whitney PW901A/C on the commercial airliner, with two APUs from unnamed sources. A second,
always good to have a backup.
Well, yes, that's true. A second APU is a rarity among modern airliners, and according to the Book of Air Force One by Robert Dorr, was installed on previous presidential aircraft to ensure they were self-sufficient on the ground. Boeing will also install two additional doors on the left side of the aircraft, one forward of the wing and one behind the wing. According to the acquisition document, the doors will come retractable air stairs to allow the aircraft to emplane I don't even know. What does emplane mean? To emplane passengers and crew without needing to rely on ground-based staircases. Oh, I see. Additional modifications will be done to the aircraft and environmental controls, power supply, water management, fuel system and engines, says the justification. Work on the aircraft will be performed at Boeing's facilities in San Antonio in Texas.
So they're having a bit of a sort of a
rejig
upgrade, a rejig of
absolutely.
the Dash 8, but it'll be awesome to see this when it's finally finished and flying. But what do you say, 2024, December 2024, so it's a few years off.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. I rather yes, they're installing a TomTom on the flight deck. Honestly, Carlos, you can be very special. Honestly, yes. I can say. Well, Graham Haley says GPS upgrade to military spec. I don't think TomTom does that.
No.
Anyway,
So the last story, the last story in the military news segment this week. It's a really nice story. This one, and was sent to us by actually I think one of our listeners sent us.
It was,
this story.
Richard Adams, I think.
And
sent it to us,
it's on theguardian.com, and it's a lovely story. This one, and we always like to finish on a nice story.
Yeah, if we can.
And this. Second
it's
World
nice and sad.
It's nice and sad at the same time, but she's had a great career.
Yeah.
So Second World War pilot Mary Ellis dies, age 101.
Wow.
And Mary Ellis was one of the last surviving British female pilots from the Second World War. She's died aged 101 at her home in the Isle of Wight.
Wow.
She used to deliver Spitfires and bombers to the front line after responding to a radio appeal by the Air Transport Auxiliary for female pilots. So Ellis joined the Air Transport Auxiliary Service in 1941 and flew about 1,000 planes over the next 4 years of her service, including 400 Spitfires and 47 Wellington bombers. After the war, Ellis moved to the Isle of Wight and managed Sandown Airport from 1950 to 1970. She married fellow pilot Don Ellis in 1961 and continued to live in their home beside the runway at Sandown after his death in 2009. Ellis was awarded the Freedom of the Isle of Wight earlier this year and was described by the council leader Dave Stewart as a national, international and island heroine. After surviving, other surviving female Second World War pilots include Eleanor Waldsworth, who lives in Bury St Edmunds, not far from us, Nancy Stratford, who lives in the US, and Jay Edwards, who lives in Canada, and Ethel Elizabeth Sharp, who lives in Truro, Cornwall. Tributes have been paid to her on social media by fellow pilots, including the Red Arrows flyer Mike Ling. So the TV presenter Dan Snow said he took his children to meet her a few weeks back when Ellis shared her thoughts about the Spitfire and described it as her favourite aircraft at her 100th birthday celebrations last year, where she said that she thinks of it as a symbol of freedom. The author and former RAF navigator John Nichol, who described Ellis as a truly remarkable lady. The author and historian James Holland said it was traumatic to see how fast Ellis's amazing generation of pilots were slipping away. The youngest Spitfire pilot in the Second World War, Geoffrey Wellham, who was 18 when he joined the Royal Air Force in 1939, died last week, also aged 96. The Battle of Britain pilot Tom Neal also died earlier this month, aged 97. Ellis was born in the village of Leafield in Oxfordshire in 1917. The Royal Flying Corps had an active presence in the county, and Ellis enjoyed flying the aircraft for pleasure up until the war began in 1939, and all civilian air flying was banned within Britain. After coming to terms with the possibility of being unable to fly again for a long period, 2 years into the war, Ellis again heard the ATA's appeal for female pilots. Women were allowed to fly military trainer and communications aircraft from 1940, and a total of 168 women served in the ATA during the war, which 15 died in the line of duty. It's safe to say she had a fantastic life, this woman here, who Mary Ellis, and she got to fly. She got to fly a Spitfire. I mean, let's not be. That's a bit of a feat in itself,
Certainly is.
But no.
What an amazing lady!
What an amazing lady!
Really amazing lady. Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Sad but good, as they say.
Good,
yeah.
So that's where we bring the military news segment to a close this week. And as Matt said earlier on, we have got a special video that's been sent in by Captain Al. Matt has run it through the independent adjudicator service to make sure that it's safe to play. And
I don't know about that. I mean, it's ready to play out whether it's family friendly or not.
Are you hovering your finger over the mute button?
The mute button in readiness, just in case. Yeah, absolutely.
So this video, I think, was one of the videos that Al sent us, is shot from Oshkosh.
Yep.
Where indeed. Al has been.
Yeah, indeed. And I think we've got some content to look forward to later on. But this is basically a bit of a meet-up with all the various people that are there.
So here we are at Oshkosh. It's Captain Al, and I've tracked down a few of the podcasting fraternity. So it's a case of putting faces to names. So first of all, I'm going to introduce to you Dispatcher Mike.
Hello everybody, hello Plain Talking UK community, all you PTUKers, I guess we would call you guys. It's very nice here to be meet Captain Al, and very nice to say hello, and you can now see my beautiful shiny face.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Mike. And sort of whizzing around here in true sort of modern videography style. On podcast Most Wanted, it's someone who's been very, very good in helping me get orientated here in Oshkosh. He is the party expert. He knows where every party on the entire site is taking place. It's David Abbey.
You must have me mistaken with Glenn from New Zealand, but that's okay.
No. You both are very much into your party scene. I've received messages from both of you, so you're going to have the shared honour on that one.
Fair enough. And yeah, when you come to Oshkosh, you don't go hungry or thirsty if you know where to go, and they're pretty liberal with the drinks and the food. And Al, it was great to meet you. Hello everyone in PT UK land, and hope more of you can come next year. It's been great being here.
I'm going to put a gun to the head, so don't worry about that. So, it's my second wife to be, Jennifer. It's good to see you again. We had the opportunity to meet in Pittsburgh, so here I am, as promised, in Oshkosh.
Yes. Hello. Yeah, it's Jennifer here. Hey, PTUK fans, podcasters. How is everybody? Wish you all were here. Hope we see you here next year.
Fabulous. And next on the lineup, it's the Mooney Maestro, Stephen Ivey. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for coming all the way over here. I know it was such a horrible flight over to come visit everybody.
Well, it wasn't that tough, to be honest, in business class. There was reasonable alcohol and food selections to be had, and the lie flat bed always makes the journey a little bit easier.
That's better accommodations than I have here, camping.
Well, yes. And let's put it this way, despite Dispatcher Mike's hopes, if I return, and I'm sure I will, there's going to be no camping involved, for sure.
Do you think the... What are those people? I forgot their names. Oh, Clarkson and them, was that as part of their grand tour tent for next year?
I think there's probably a good chance. I'm on, very, very close terms with the entire Amazon team. Awesome. I'm always in contact with their customer service department, so I'm sure that there's some connections that can be made there.
Is that with the Mercedes team?
Don't mention the M word. So, finally, but certainly not least, someone who's made a monumental journey to get here, but I know that you're a regular and you're an avid listener and watcher, so it's Glenn Towler. How are you doing?
G'day. Yeah, I'm here again, 7th year in a row, and it's so good to meet you, Al. I mean, I know all these guys and your family as well. They're such a nice bunch of people. So, yeah, and here I am again.
And thank you very much. In exactly the same way as I said to David, it's really nice that yourself, David, Jennifer, Mike and Stephen have all sort of put the arms out, welcomed us, and you made us feel part of the whole community here, and it's been great to socialise with some fantastic people, so thank you all very much for that. And is there anything else you want to say before I round off things?
Glenn out.
He always does that Glenn out. It's brilliant. Love it. So yeah, that's a little taster of what we've got to look forward to coming up.
Did you see Glenn's his shirt he's wearing there?
Yeah, go on.
It's like
I'll do that quickly. A quick glimpse. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a navigation chart.
I love it.
Awesome. Love the shirt.
So many familiar faces there. It's nice to see them all, actually. Yeah, so well done. Thanks, Al, for being our official correspondent there at Oshkosh. And one day, who knows, we might make it ourselves.
I know.
That is the dream, I think. I think we should try that for next year. Shouldn't we? Absolutely. I think it's the way forward.
So we're going to start to wrap up episode number 227 of the show. Just a quick mention before we do finish the show as well. Don't forget the PTUK barbecue, which is coming up on the 18th of August. For those of you who live in the UK or maybe here on holiday or have a few £1 million to fly over here to the UK for a few days, our summer barbecue, fly-in barbecue at Seething Airfield on the 18th of August. If you want to come, don't forget, send us an email to...
It is podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. We're busy. Carlos is compiling the list at the moment, ready so that we know who's coming. But as I say, Captain Al will definitely be there. We have the legend that is Pilot Pip. He's also joining us. Armando is going to be there. Obviously, me and Carlos. That's the downside, I know. And of course, the legend that is Nev. So if you needed any other incentive,
Barbara,
to get yourself,
absolutely, quite a few people coming here.
Indeed.
And also, there's a word has been mentioned last weekend, Matt, during the show. That apparently there is a possibility of a formation fly-in.
Oh yes, because they're talking about sort of touching down near Armando's local field, wasn't he? We're going to have some Piper 28s busy doing
a formation
flying,
flying into the day, which will be absolutely awesome. So don't forget, if you want to come, it'll be great to see as many of our UK listeners or anyone listeners who may be in the UK.
So if you, for those of you who have actually been in touch to say that you are coming, Carlos will be replying to you hopefully this week just to sort of confirm that we have received your request, if you like, and that you are definitely on the list. So, but if you would like to be added to the list, as I say, podcast@planetalkinguk.com. We need that for security reasons, just so that we know who's coming. Also, to make sure we don't run out of burgers.
Yes, because the access, actually, on that note, the access to the airfield, Matt, when you drive across to where the clubhouse is and where the parking area for the aircraft is, you do actually have to drive just at the threshold of the runway. So you do have to be careful.
We have to be there.
Look left and right.
Yeah, absolutely. So we look left and right. Yeah. So you'll be arriving. You'll be joining us airside essentially. So that's one of the main reasons.
And we're also going to have a barbecue.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
and beer and stuff.
And all being well, a live show from
there. And a live show as well. Hopefully, we've got to dig out the satellite.
We have. Yes, we need to liaise with Two-Way to get that up and running again.
Blimey. Yeah, probably a bit dusty.
Yeah, it's very dusty. Yeah.
Yeah. We better sort that out.
Yeah,
we better do some pre-planning, I think. Then.
Yeah.
Well, that is it then. We are going to say a big thanks to everyone who's joined us in the live YouTube chat room on this sunny Saturday morning here in the UK. So big thanks to everyone who's joined us in the chat room. It's been great to see you all. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. And, we're going to say a big thanks to Matt for coming over here to PTUK to join us today. But no, I have a great weekend, everyone. And don't forget to look out for us next week, next
Friday?
week
sometime. Yeah,
back to normal Friday.
We'll say Friday unless we
say Friday.
We say otherwise. Obviously, follow. If you're not doing so already, then follow our social media. It's podcast@planetalkinguk.com is our email address, and also if you search for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you'll find us on Plane Talking UK.
Richard King has just put in the chat room. He said that he can't make it. He can't cancel his holiday.
Very, very, very poor excuse. I know, a real shame.
But
yeah, no, absolutely. We understand. Family has to come.
Family
first. Always comes first, Richard. We would never expect anyone to do that. Anyway, that's it. It's time to wrap up. We will see you all
next week
very soon.
Have a great weekend.
Next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.